Hi everyone, sorry I'm late with the video this week. I got tied up with doing other bits and bobs, so apologies for that. Right, so the time had come for me to contact the various estate agents to break the news to them regarding my decision. In the meantime, the landlord of the spacious apartment has been in touch with the agent and had said that he wanted me to rent his apartment and was prepared to drop the rent from €850 a month to €700 per month. Unfortunately, I'd already been in contact with the other agent and said I was interested in a property by the beach. It was a lovely gesture from the guy, which I appreciated, but as mentioned previously, the flat wasn't particularly practical for me. It was time to take stock of things, some pros and cons. First of all, the pros. Well, first of all, no council tax to pay, relatively low cost of living, a slower pace of life, good weather, even in winter usually. Maltese people were friendly and helpful, cheap transport, free healthcare depending on your age, and some pharmacies had a doctor on site. And the cons, well, very hot and humid in August. The nearest doctor's surgery for free healthcare would be 11 miles away. I really couldn't think of any more cons. Not an ideal phrase to use, but you know what I mean. I signed the contract for my apartment on Thursday the 12th of March, but to prevent the landlord keeping the apartment on the market, my real estate agent had to heavily negotiate, with the result that I would take up residency of the place on the 16th of April. This was not what I had planned, but the rental market in Malta was very volatile, so much so that if you saw a property on a real estate website one day, it would probably be gone by the following day. By now the coronavirus pandemic was starting to affect Malta, and ironically on Friday the 13th of March, the Maltese government imposed a lockdown, which meant that visitors from any country in the world would have to self-quarantine for 14 days in their hotel room. You can only imagine the pandemonium that broke out in the hotel I was staying at. People were arriving, knowing nothing about this, and were berating the hotel staff about the quarantine rules, which I suppose was not unreasonable at the time, as none of the guests had been told anything about it, and planes were continuing to land at the airport. What made things worse for some of them was that they'd only come for 3 or 4 days, and the government had also announced that anyone seen on the streets who should be in quarantine would be fined £1,000. I felt sorry for the staff at the hotel, as they were only following the rules that their government had ordered. There was some good news, however, for some of the arriving guests. The announcement from the government was made at 1 p.m, and so it was deemed by whoever that passengers who had landed in Malta before that time would not have to self-quarantine. If you landed after 1 p.m, you had to. It seemed in a way quite bizarre, this ruling, but I suppose it's all to do with politics, which I don't really like or want to get involved with. At the time I originally wrote this, which was the 14th of March, flights were still leaving, but I was unsure what was happening with the inbound flights. In addition, I had no idea whether I would be able to return in April or not, but if I did, I would quite happily self-quarantine for 14 days. Able to return as planned on the 16th of April 2020 due to the coronavirus, and also that the airport in Malta had been closed to all incoming flights by the Maltese government. This had caused me some problems, as I had already given notice to my landlord in the UK that I would be leaving my flat on the 15th of April. So I now had to backpedal furiously and hope that I would be able to stay on. Well, that's all for this week's episode. I'll give you my normal spiel, and that is, keep yourself safe. Things are starting to look a little bit better as far as the UK is concerned with lockdown. Not so in Malta, so I'm still stuck in the UK waiting to get out to Malta to my apartment. Hopefully I'll get a bit of summer out there, but we'll keep our fingers crossed, and in the meantime look after yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.